Luton Town 2, Middlesbrough 1. And to be fair, that was kind of like how do I say it, a prelude to what's expected in the Championship playoffs this season. Both teams, third and fourth, neither really look like they're going to push to make the automatic promotion spots with those going to Burnley, Sheffield United. But both these teams, arguably the pick of the best. Let's be honest about it, the pick of the best. And they fought today in a game that it was funny. I feel like the team that lost in Middlesbrough probably got more from the game, in my opinion, in terms of their contribution to it. I'm going to analyze both teams and what I believe their chances are of getting promoted to the Premier League, because I do believe it'll be one of these two teams to get promoted to the Premier League inevitably, alongside Sheffield United and Burnley, with the other teams all scrapping for it, the Millwalls, the Blackburns, the Coventrys, etc. But I don't see either of those teams really breaking into making the Premier League, because I think Luton and Middlesbrough have been a cut above the rest of those. But this game really highlighted to me a few things. First of all, the home advantage for Luton Town is apparent. The home advantage for Luton Town is so clear, man. That stadium, first of all, I don't know how, if they make the Premier League, how they're going to host it in that stadium. I think they're going to need renovations, well, a lot of them at least, because there's no way that stadium is fit enough to host Premier League football, man. Like, it is a little den, literally. It's a tiny little den, man. It's a League Two stadium, and even that's been nice. I think Wrexham Stadium is probably nicer, but yeah, it's crazy to say, but that's how it is. But either way, look, the home advantage, it works, man. It works. It's a really tight pitch, and the fans get on you. And it can be suffocating at times playing under those conditions. I've seen it in National League football. I've seen it again today. But the Middlesbrough stood up to it. Their players stood up to it really well. Welcome into the chat, Luke. Let me know your thoughts of the game, mate. If you watched, I appreciate you tuning in as always. So yeah, I think, to be honest, right, Luton Town did win this game. They won 2-1. I'm going to go through the whole game as I watched it. And I haven't watched a lot of Championship football this season, but I was really interested to see how both these teams perform, given they are both expected to make the playoffs. I am looking at it and I'm thinking right now there's stark contrast between the two teams' approach to the game, though. Stark contrast. And now it's a case of what one's going to win overall, because today Luton got the win, but this is just the battle, not the war. The real big fight will be in a couple of weeks' time, or a few weeks' time, when we expect them to clash in the playoffs, potentially the final at Wembley. That will be the real battle between the two sides. Then who's going to be the team that gets promoted to the Premier League? Because neither side's going to pip Sheffield United to automatic promotion, and Burnley's already secured it. So which of these two teams can really go above and beyond? And I think this was a really good game to see where both teams are at. Obviously, they've rested players, and you can see, for example, Chuba Akpom, Nottingham Forest's best player this season. Sorry, not Nottingham Forest, Middlesbrough's best player this season, didn't even start. So it just goes to show that, and didn't even come off the bench either, that neither manager really want to take lots of risks with the playoffs coming out, which is a bit of a shame, because I could talk also how I believe that momentum's so big in football. It's one thing not getting injuries, but this stage of the season, you want the momentum. You don't want to rest players and potentially lose a match, and then you have to get going again the game after. The players just want to play while the matches are coming thick and fast. So it's one of those things. Let's go Palace tomorrow. We playing Wolves. Yes, indeed. The Premier League is coming back tomorrow. I'll be reacting again tomorrow. I believe I'm going to be reacting to Leeds versus Leicester, but of course the other matches as well. I'll give my thoughts on them at the same time. Got a lot of matches to come. Yeah, if promoted, they'll make additions in the summer, but neither of these now could do much week after week in the Premier League. You say that, but to be honest, right? So I'm going to talk about both teams now. So first of all, Luton Town, the home team, did really well to get the victory, and I will sum them up as being a very pragmatic team. Very pragmatic in the sense that they know what they're good at. They're not there to pass teams at the park. They play how I'd expect a Championship team to play, to be honest. Like, when someone tells me, "Oh, you're watching Championship," how Luton plays, how I'd expect a Championship team to play. Physical, up for the fight, really compact defensively. They got the two target men up front and they play off them. Literally the blueprint of how any Championship team I'd expect to play football. And it works. It works to their advantage, to be completely honest. But then you've got the contrast. You've got Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough genuinely impressed me. Middlesbrough can play football. I'm not just saying that. They can fully play football. They're a really good side. Like, I see what Michael Carrick's doing now, and it's the way he's able to pop the ball around between midfield to the wide players as well, through the lines as well. It's a really good style of football, and it's a really sustainable style of football as well. So between the two teams, I'd love if Middlesbrough get promoted, to be completely honest, to the Premier League. But Luton Town do what they're meant to do, and the reason they're so far up this table this season, because they play pragmatic. They play in a way that works for them. They know they're not going to pass teams out the park. They know that's not their play style. However, they play to their strengths. They get it up to their strikers, and when they get the ball in the counter-attack, they're dangerous, man. We can talk about the first goal. It's a set piece. I mean, look, you got to defend set piece probably. Let's be completely honest about it. Good evening, bro. Hope you had a good birthday. It was good. It was really good. Thank you yesterday, man. I missed the Newcastle-Tottenham match, though. I missed the whole first stuff. I wish I watched it. One of those things, I guess. It was your birthday. It was yesterday. Yes, Luke. That's why I didn't have any streams. I didn't know. Sorry, no problem, mate. Whatsoever. Happy late birthday. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, going back to the goal. So the first goal for Middlesbrough. Oh my days! This goal from Cam Archer. This was Ozil versus Ludogorets composure. I'm talking about. First of all, the goal came out of nowhere. It seemed like the first half was ebbing and flowing, but nothing was really materializing for either side. And it was like one long ball, and Archer's through. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, he's gonna get there ahead of the keeper. He does. He prods it past the keeper. It's a tap-in finish, but he does the composed thing and takes another touch, takes the defender out of the game, and then slots it into the back of net. It's a calm and composed, cultured finish for Cameron Archer, who's had a brilliant season for Middlesbrough as well. And I gave them the 1-0 lead, and I'd say deservedly so. I think they came to play football. Obviously, they were missing Chuback from their star striker, but the play between the lines was still really good. I think that Crooks guy up front is a fraud. Like, he's an absolute bum. He shouldn't be playing for Middlesbrough. I think Chuback, there's a clear difference in quality and golfing class between the two players, but overall, I thought it was decent stuff, man. I thought it was really decent stuff from them. And then in the second half, though, inexcusable. I always say teams that are weak are teams that concede from a corner and set pieces. You can't concede from set pieces, man. It shows your weakness and feebleness, man. You gotta be assured defensively at set pieces. It's one of the biggest blueprints to do well in any game. Shore up defensively, especially from set pieces, because that's the only way really Luton Town were going to get anything from the game. They weren't passing them apart. They weren't going through the lines, really. It was either a long ball or a set piece. That's how they were getting their joy. And Luton Town did not defend properly, especially that... Sorry, not Luton Town. Middlesbrough did not defend properly, especially that corner kick. Easy, man. Center of the box, basically from the penalty spot. Free header, free as a bird. Heads it off the post and in. And that brought Luton level. And when you're away from home, right, you don't want to give the home crowd any incentive. And 1-1... You've just conceded as soon as the second half started, man, and you're thinking, all right, it might be a bit of a long night. Luton Town might actually wake up. And then they got a penalty. And for me, this is absolutely criminal, how this was given a penalty. No way ever was this a penalty, man. No way. Graham Scott, is that the ref's name? It was a complete dive. Well and truly dived, man. Zach Steffen tried to get out of the way. He lunged in, but then pulled out of the way. It was perfect goalkeeping, man. Bait the strike into falling down, but then don't actually touch him. But the ref bit and gave a penalty. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. It is what it is. At the end of the day, at least it's not the playoff game where this error was made. Because in a playoff game, that could cost Middlesbrough making the Premier League. It was absolutely criminal to give that as a penalty. But it's one of those things, man. It happens. Tottenham are shambles. They are indeed. They've just sacked Stellini as well. It's absolutely crazy, man. Nothing's going right at that football club. I could speak long and day about how I believe Tottenham should change, to be completely honest. We have to ask the question, are Tottenham a big club? Define a big club, etc. Tottenham are a big club. And I'm saying that as an Arsenal fan. Genuinely, they are a big club. But they're not moving like a big club. They've tried to move too much as a big club and sign these top managers the likes of Conte, Jose Mourinho, etc. But that's not the way forward. That's not how Tottenham work. You need to, sometimes as a club, right, you need to operate within your DNA. I always say there's good managers, right, but not every good manager is going to fit your football club. For example, Jose Mourinho is an unbelievable manager. I don't think prime Jose Mourinho fits Arsenal. He doesn't. Arsenal's got a different DNA. Jose Mourinho fitted Chelsea. He liked that rough and ready, that frantic football, that case of turnovers really quickly in the sense that the manager ain't going to be there long, unlimited money to spend, basically like a crazy kind of football club to run. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, like so much money to spend, we're going to get sacked in a season. That type of vibe. Whereas Arsenal's a bit more calm, composed. And I don't think Jose Mourinho fits Arsenal. That doesn't mean Jose Mourinho is not a bad manager. I think he's a brilliant manager. Now, what I'm saying is the same thing about Tottenham. Jose Mourinho doesn't fit Tottenham. Antonio Conte doesn't fit Tottenham. Conte and Mourinho fit Chelsea-type football clubs where they'll give the money. They won't assure them time, but they'll give them the budget and say, look, I want results right now, and heap the pressure on them. But equally, they will act like a big club in the sense that they will make changes when needs be. They will sign the top players, attract the top players as well into the football club. Tottenham don't act like that. So if you're not going to act like Chelsea, stop trying to bring in Chelsea managers. Do you get what I mean? You're not going to give them the checkbook like Chelsea, like Abramovich or Todd Bowley does. So for me, Tottenham needs to go for a project manager, whether that's De Zerbi, whether that's Company, whether that's Michael Carrick today, someone like that. That is what Tottenham needs to do. They need to revert to style, focus on the inputs, focus on bringing the manager that does this sort of stuff, that plays a good football, gets the fans involved, and then you'll get results as part of that. Trust me. That's how the process works. If you focus too much on results, you won't get them inevitably. They win nothing. They don't. And look, it depends what a metric of a big club is. If your metric of a big club is one that pretty much just wins trophies, then yeah, I guess Tottenham are a big club. But for me, I think it goes a bit deeper than that. I would class Tottenham as a big club still. I think they're a big club. Borough kept trying to go long over the top the whole first half. They did, but they changed their style in the second half though. And look, if I'm Middlesbrough fan, I wouldn't be too disappointed with this game whatsoever, because genuinely, I think they're a really top football team. They're a really good football team. They're much better than Luton Town in terms of football ability. Much better. Like, they passed Luton Town out of the park. I'm being real about it. Between the lines, they're really good. I think the right back, was his name Isaiah Jones, number 2, really good. Cam Archer slotted into midfield, really good as well. Their striker let him down. Crooks, I think he had some good chances. I think if Chubakpom's there, they win this game comfortably. Middlesbrough are a really good football team. Genuinely, I would not be too disheartened by this result. They just need to tighten up defensively because you can't concede set pieces for me. It's one of the biggest signs of a weakness in a football club. Be assured defensively in set pieces, because when teams are struggling, they're going to look to score from a set piece. That's their way back into their game. That's what gives them life. So you got to make sure you're resolute defensively, especially on those set pieces. Because that was the only way Luton scored. Luton scored from a set piece and from a counter-attack when you lost the ball in transition. That was it. Other than that, they had nothing. Middlesbrough were the only team that was actually carving them open and creating good footballing opportunities. So for me, Middlesbrough, I'm not worried whatsoever. I think if you play this game in Wembley, they win that game. I think home advantage is the only reason, and the fact they were missing Chubakpom was the only reason Luton got a result this game. I genuinely think Middlesbrough are a better team than Luton. I know you can say the table doesn't lie after 42, 43 matches, 44 matches, but nah, for me, Middlesbrough are a better football team. I saw it with my own 2 eyes today. Are you looking forward to Wednesday? I am, but a little nervous at the same time. I've just heard that Saliba's going to be out for the game as well, so I'm a bit nervous. Obviously, it's D-Day literally Wednesday, man. It's doomsday for Arsenal Football Club. Do we win it? If we do, the title race is back on. If we lose it, yeah, it might be a long day for us. Big up to you, bro. I appreciate you tuning in, Sajid, as always. Manchester Derby FA Cup final. Will it be a good game? I think it will be a good game. I think it's the first Manchester Derby FA Cup final in a long time. It might be the first time ever, because I can't remember the last time United and City played the FA Cup final. It's been so long. And I think it will be a good game because everyone's expecting Man City to win that match. And I do think Man City will win that match, but Manchester United turn up in big games, like in Wembley FA Cup final matches. They always do. And I think under Eric Ten Hag, they could have something going. Bearing in mind, they beat City already this season at home. Rashford could start firing, etc. City might run out of gas towards the end of the season. Who knows, man? I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a really brilliant FA Cup final, to be honest. Commiserations to Brighton's. I think over the match, I mean, I can't lie, I got home late, so I only got to watch extra time. I missed the whole of normal time. But from what I heard in the reports and from what I saw in extra time, Brighton were the better footballing team. They created the more chances, but United stuck in there. And their experience showed during penalties. I mean, those were really good penalties from Manchester United, man. Like, tough penalties as well. And I've seen players like Sancho, Rashford score as well. And these are players that have missed big penalties. I mean, you look at the England Euro final penalties they missed. So it was really big for them to score penalties. One, Lindelof of all people, getting the winning penalty, man. Big up him for that. Even West Ham has more chance of winning a trophy than Tottenham. Well, that is true. That is true. The Europa Conference League, I mean, they're in the semi-finals. They're pretty much good, man. I think they're favourites to win it. Harry Kane has to leave Tottenham, agree, and join Newcastle or something. Harry Kane needs to go to Manchester United, in my opinion. Manchester United should be looking at Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen right now. They need to stop basically faffing around and bringing in this Weghorst, etc. Bring in a top striker if you're Manchester United, and you can make movements, man, because United have got a solid foundation in that football team. I genuinely believe that. You just need a better goalkeeper, because I don't trust De Gea one bit, and they need a proper number 9, like a Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen. If they get those 2 positions sorted, Manchester United will be a problem next season, I promise you that. It's now or never for Kane, agree. He either wants to win trophies or be a stat pad merchant. The thing is, he's too loyal. Like, Tottenham have hit the lottery, man. Like, they've got a striker that's just too loyal. Like, any other striker would have left by now. Genuinely, any other striker on planet Earth would have left by now. But Harry Kane, for some reason, is just so loyal, man. So I guess you have to commend him for that. But if he really wants to take that next step in his career, he's got to move on. I agree with you, man. He has to move on. I think he'll stay in the Premier League because he's got Alan Shearer's record in sight. But if Bayern Munich come knocking, why not, man? Why not? If Bayern Munich come knocking, PSG even knocking around for him, who knows who he goes to, man? Who knows? My New York Rangers are winning the series 2-1 over the Devils game 4 tonight. Hey, big up the New York Rangers, man, the NHL. Hopefully they get the win today. Is it a best of 7, just like the NBA for the NHL? I think it is. Final Newcastle 20 minutes in, I couldn't believe my eyes. I missed it, man. I missed the Newcastle Tottenham game. Literally, I started watching from halftime onwards, and I checked my phone, and it was 5-0. And I checked after like 30 minutes. I was like, oh my God, how have I missed this, man? I would have loved to do live stream after that game, but it's one of those things, man. Newcastle tore them apart. And Newcastle look good. They look good at home. And they started to click. And then finally, I've started playing my boy Isak. I've been calling it for half the season. Play Isak. I know he's been injured a little bit, but they persisted with Callum Wilson, man. Drop Callum Wilson. Isak's your proper striker. He's so good, man. He's added so much to his game. His end product as well is there. Really good from Newcastle, man. Credit to them. They're making Champions League this season. They deserve it 100%. What gets me is there's this top 6 thing where they're going about which What gets me is this top 6 thing they go on about, which includes Tottenham. But how? Only money. The other clubs in it win trophies. Are Tottenham really any bigger than Villa, Everton, etc.? I get what you're saying, Tommy. I genuinely do, because the big 6, as they call it, like the Arsenal, the Tottenham, the Man City, United, Chelsea, and Liverpool, right? Is like the big 6 clubs in England. And I mean, I know a few seasons back, people like Gary Neville were taking Arsenal out of the big 6 and putting Leicester City in. And Tottenham remain in because of their status as a big club. They are still a big club. And it's a shame, because you're right. I think Villa, Everton have got the history. They were massive back in the day. I think Everton won the 4th most trophies in English history. I want to say something like that. Or it must be like top 5 or 6, because Everton won a lot of trophies back in the day, man. Villa, massive club. Forest as well won Champions Leagues. So you're looking and you're thinking, can Tottenham compete with these clubs in terms of trophies? No. But in terms of facilities, the stadium, etc., the size of the club, that's what gets Tottenham there. And the thing is, you're right, though. If they keep persisting like this, they will fall off. So they're going to have to make movements now. They're going to have to start to fix it now, because you can't keep dilly-dallying in football, because in sport, if you're going sideways, you're going backwards. That's the rule. You have to always keep improving, because if you're just going sideways with the other teams improving relative to others, you're going down. And that's what's happening with Tottenham, man. They're getting worse and worse each season. Hi, Jordan. Thank you for joining to chat, my friend. Big trophy. I know this is the thing. When you attach comments, it comes with trophy yellow smiling, which makes no sense. But I can see in the chat it's a cup trophy. I'm angry because Watford sacked Rob Edwards, now the Luton Town manager. September 2022. He's getting rivals Luton Town to the Premier League. Right. Okay. So Sajid, I thought about this during the games. I remember you mentioned this earlier, right? So you sacked Rob Edwards. Was it the good move? Probably not, on the balance of what's happening to Luton Town. But genuinely, I don't think Rob Edwards is a great manager. I'm be real about it. I'm be completely honest, man. Watching them today, he was just pragmatic. Like, there was nothing there which showed brilliant football from Luton. Like, that's not a 3rd place championship team in terms of football they play. They play, how I'd compare them to is like the Leicester team that won the Premier League. That Leicester team that won the Premier League didn't play amazing football, but they were very efficient and pragmatic. They got the ball up to Okazaki and Jamie Vardy. They defended well, and they got chances off that. This Luton Town team's the same. They defend astutely, they defend compactly, and they get the ball up to their strikers, their 2 target men, and they play off them, and they get goals via that, and they play to the home crowd advantage. But I don't see a proper football team in there. Like, Middlesbrough played them out the park today, and Middlesbrough are a better football team than Luton. I think, genuinely, if this game goes to Wembley as I expected to do so, Luton versus Middlesbrough to make the Premier League, my money's on Middlesbrough to make the Premier League, because they're a better football team than Luton. I see it with my own 2 eyes. And Michael Carrick's done a brilliant job. Now, that's not me discrediting Rob Edwards one bit. I wish him the absolute best, and I think he's done a good job at Luton Town. But if I'm being completely honest about it, man, I don't think his football quality that I've seen on the pitch today or from Luton Town this season is anything to really go, oh my God, he's done a brilliant job. Like, I think Michael Carrick's done a better job than him. Let's be real about it. Now, I credit him because he's 3rd in the Championship and on his way to make the Premier League. But I'm not going to sit here and go, he's done a brilliant job or he's a brilliant manager, because he's playing pragmatic. Like I said at the start of the stream, I appreciate not a lot of people that tuned in then. He plays how I'd expect the Championship team to play. If someone told me I'm watching a Championship game and I saw Luton, I'd say, yeah, they're Championship team. If I watched Middlesbrough and I had to guess what division they're in, I'd guess Premier League. Middlesbrough play like a Premier League team. The way they pop the ball about between the lines, the way they're linking up play, it's good, man. Like, I was watching that game, and I like to talk while I watch matches, even if no one's next to me. It's like talking to myself. I like to talk while I watch the matches. And I was like going, good. Like, the passes were good from Middlesbrough, playing between the lines, playing that extra pass we needed to, getting the ball in the box. If Chuba Akpom's on the pitch, not that bum Crooks, they get a few goals in today. And obviously, the ref robbed them with a controversial penalty. But the football for Middlesbrough is good. Like, if an alien comes down and says, watch both these teams, I would guess, or they would guess, that Luton's a Championship team and Middlesbrough's a Premier League team. And I would agree with that. Watching the balance of the 2 football styles and how they play football. Like, they played them out of the park. That being said, no discredit in Rob Edwards one bit, but that's just my opinion on it. I genuinely think that Middlesbrough are the better football team. And I think if this game's played at Wembley with the starters for each team, Middlesbrough win it. That's just my thoughts on it. United with Kane could be awesome. It would be. And he would completely revolutionise Manchester United because they need a number 9. And I know Erik ten Hag likes to play that target 9. You can see with the fact he's got Weghorst up there. Well, Harry Kane can be a target 9, but he's 10,000 times better than Weghorst. So he'd be fitting Erik ten Hag's system and be one of the best strikers in world football. He'd be really dangerous combo if Manchester United get Harry Kane. Trust me when I say that. If Newcastle finished chances all year like they did yesterday, it would have been a 3-way title race. I mean, potentially, for a while, January-wise, Newcastle were in the title race for a period. They were very close to Arsenal City. They fell away a little bit and they got too many draws. The thing with Newcastle is they're very tough to beat. And that's a very good sign. When a team's tough to beat, it's very good. because that's the first protocol. You got to be tough to beat as a team. Then you start to expand yourselves offensively. I think Isak coming back's been a massive boost for Newcastle because he's been that different type of striker to them. I think Callum Wilson's done his bit, but there's levels to this game. Like Isak's been that next level for Newcastle United, and I was a big critic of him. Don't get me wrong, I love Isak, and I've had videos talking about how I believe Newcastle are going to make the top 4, and how I'm a big fan of Isak. But I always question Isak's finishing. I think the rest of his game's solid. I think his link-up play is good. I think he's got the build of a proper footballer. His build, his physicality, his athleticism is all very good. His link-up play is solid, but I question whether he can finish his chances. And for Newcastle, he's done exactly that. I think he's got something like 10 and 11 or something crazy like that. Like, he's been very good for Newcastle. And look, he's turned out to be one of the best strikers in the Premier League this season. Done so well, man. Pochettino Chelsea, yes, I saw. Not the right appointment for me. Should have gone for Luis Enrique, but let's see if it gets over the line. Rivals getting scared about Newcastle. I'm getting scared about Newcastle because them making the Champions League, right, gives the owners a license to splash the cash. Now, they're the most affluent owners in football, the Saudi Arabians. And bear in mind, they haven't been too, what's the word? They haven't splashed the cash too much. They've bought some good signings, Trippier, Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, etc. But they haven't gone for the big signings, you know what I mean? Like the Madisons, etc. But with Champions League, they've got the license to spend, man. No one can stop them because the annual turnover is coming in, bro. With the Champions League, the revenue's coming in, the cash flow's coming in. So they've got the license to spend money. Newcastle will be the Man City, will be the next Man City. I'm convinced of it. You're right. Rob Edwards plays weird football for us. It's annoying how well he's done for Luton. See, it's one of those things, man. Like, it's like I said that earlier on. Sometimes styles fit certain managers, right? Like, I spoke about how Jose Mourinho is one of the best managers, but I could never imagine Jose Mourinho managing my club, Arsenal. It doesn't fit Arsenal's DNA. Just like Tottenham, Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte don't fit Tottenham's DNA for me. Maybe Rob Edwards doesn't fit Watford's DNA. I see Watford as, I don't see Watford like Luton. Luton, I can see, is a very underdog team. Like the way the pitch is set up as well. They embrace that underdog kind of siege mentality. Watford, I've got a bit more respect for. When I say respect, I don't mean to discredit Luton Town one bit. Respecting this in the sense that I respect they're going to try and open up the game and play a bit more like free-flowing football and try and impose themselves on the other team. Whereas Luton Town have got the license to sit back and be a bit more soak and absorb and hit on the counter-attack. So maybe Robert Edwards doesn't fit Watford's style. Doesn't mean he's a bad manager. Just doesn't fit their style. Just like David Moyes doesn't fit Manchester United's style when he was there. So he moved on to Luton Town. Fair play to them. He's done amazing for them. His styles fit perfectly with that football club. Let's see how far they go, man. I'd rather Middlesbrough make the Premier League. No disrespect to Luton Town one bit when I say that. It's just I think I like to reward teams that play good football. And for me, Middlesbrough play better football than them, so I'd rather see them in the Premier League. Just one of those things. Luton won the National League not so long ago, yes. And they played in the old First Division Premier League in the 80s, I believe. Yes, they've had a bit of a journey, a bit of a rollercoaster journey. And look, fair play to them. If they make it back up, big up to them for that. But they need to renovate that stadium because it is a dump. For Man City, they are beating United in the FA Cup final. I think that's what a lot of people are expecting, to be completely honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if Man United win it. And then the next question, which kind of feeds into that, what I was going to talk about, do you think Manchester City will do the treble? It's a good question. For me, I think they've got a good chance as anybody. I think Man City have got a good chance to win the treble, as Arsenal have to win the Premier League, to be completely honest. They're in the FA Cup final. They're 2 games away from a Champions League final. The Premier League's in their hands, and they've got a home game against Arsenal in a couple of days' time. So I think they're in a good chance as anybody. Do I think they'll do it? I can't comprehend them doing it. I can't fathom the fact that Man City are going to do the treble, but they can do it. Genuinely, they can. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but something's just telling me that my gut feeling tell me they won't. My gut feeling is they'll win the Champions League and they might win the Premier League. But for some reason, I feel like they won't win every competition. Like whether they win the Champions League and FA Cup or Premier League and Champions League or, I don't know, Premier League and FA Cup, I'm not sure. But something tells me they won't win all 3. My money's on Man City to win the Champions League this season. I said it from before. Who knows, man? But will they do the treble? I hope not, but it can happen. Newcastle got too many draws. Exactly, yeah, because they needed a goal 12 yards wide and 12 yards high in order to hit it. There was times when Newcastle were eking out 0-0 draws. I remember when they came to the Emirates, and I credited them because they played really well defensively. And they got a deserving 0-0 draw there because, they set up to basically draw the game. What made me laugh is before the Tottenham game, Eddie Howe came out and said, someone asked him, will the draw be a good result? And he goes, no, we don't play to draw. And I was just cringing there thinking, when you came to the Emirates, my friend, you came to draw big time. When Newcastle came to the Emirates in January, they set up in the biggest fossil football sense ever, man. Sitting back defensively. They only played one striker on the pitch. Like, even Joe Linton was playing as a defender. Like, it was crazy, man. Like, they set up to draw massively that game. So I cringed a bit when he said that. But look, fair play. I don't discredit any team for playing their style of football. I know a lot of my friends that get annoyed when teams try and set up with low blocks against Arsenal, etc. I said, what do you expect? Do you think teams are going to try and play bar for bar with Arsenal or Man City in terms of football? Because they get played out of the park. You have to play different styles of football. So when Newcastle came to the Emirates and they sat back defensively, I was one of those fans that go, oh, boring Newcastle, because that's how you play football, man. That's how they're going to win games. That's how they're going to get points at the Emirates. It's up to our job to adapt to the opponent, and we didn't do that. Big up Newcastle because they've showed both facets of their game. That's what I've credited Newcastle a lot this season because they've been one of the few teams in the league where I've seen them adapt to different styles. When they've gone away from home, they've been resolute, they've been compact, they've been defensively assured, and they've grinded out clean sheets and draws. Equally, when they play at home, they're like a different football team. They play expansive, they play front foot. They remind me of the old Italian teams in the Champions League. The reason they brought in away goals in the first place, they used to basically just shut up shop away from home and get 0-0s, and then at home play the game properly. That's kind of like when Newcastle, they are like those old school Italian teams. Away from home, they set up shop, man. They don't even bother trying to play football. But at home, they play the expansive football. They try and take the game to the opponent. And fair play, it works for them, man. Let's see how they do in the Champions League next season. So I fully do expect them to make it. It's been a great season for Newcastle. Agree. Future looks bright. It very much does so, man. Very much does so. Watford, bigger club than Luton? I believe so. Definitely in terms of recent history, Watford have Euroed up and down the Premier League. I've got much more respect for Watford than I have for Luton. I think the Football League in general does. In terms of, I think Watford's a tougher opponent than Luton. That's just my opinion on it. Do you think Manchester City won the Champions League the most? Yes, 100%. It's escaped them the whole history. They will trade. I think Man City would rather win the Champions League than the Premier League and FA Cup. If there's any City fans here, I doubt it, but if there is, let me know. But for me, I think City would rather win the Champions League than the Premier League and FA Cup. That's just my take on it. Honestly, that's what I think. Arsenal win the league. Ooh. Is that your prediction? Oh, wait. Arsenal win the league, but Man City will win Champions League and get that record over Arsenal. Would you take that? Yes, I would. Yes, I would, because I want Arsenal to win the league. Obviously, I don't want Man City to win Champions League because, as you said, I want what happened to Arsenal to happen to Man City in like a few years' time, when Man City inevitably fall off the pace eventually, as they always do. No dynasty or dynasty lasts forever. I want them to give us the Arsenal treatment. Give them we never won a Champions League and all your domination. That's what I want to happen to Man City. That being said, I do expect Man City to win the Champions League this season. But it's one of those things, man. I'd rather Arsenal win the Premier League. And if that means Man City win the Champions League, so be it. So be it, man. Do you like the away goals rule or glad it's been scrapped? I like the away goals rule. I just wasn't a fan of it in extra time. I think the away goals was a brilliant rule. Just scrap it when you get to extra time. For me, I just think extra time should have been scrapped anyway. My opinion on it is right. Away goals should have stood. And if the game is drawn after normal time, including away goals, you just go straight to penalties. The only time extra time should exist for me is in the final, in the Champions League final, in the World Cup final, etc., whatever. Every other game in the Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League, forget extra time, just go straight to penalties. Extra time only in the final. That's my thoughts on it. Bring back away goals. That's just my take on it. Feel free to disagree if you want. Arsenal was the one match all year that I thought Newcastle were playing for a draw. In others, I thought they were going for a win but couldn't finish chances. Yes, I agree. I think even the game they played against Man City away from home, it surprised me because they were a bit more front foot than I expected. I thought they were going to set up how they set up against Arsenal and be really tough to beat. They did go to the Emirates and they definitely tried to draw that game, 100%. They didn't even bother trying to win that football match. They came for a draw. But that's the thing with Newcastle, right? Because I wonder how they're going to do next season in the Champions League. Because the Champions League is a different kettle of fish from the Premier League. You can say the Premier League is the toughest competition it is, but when you play Champions League, it's different. Like, even if that team is not as good as you, like it can be Sevilla, who are 13th in the La Liga, it's still a tough game. Because it's Champions League football. It's away from home. It's jet lag. You're flying overseas, etc. Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm interested to see how Newcastle perform in the Champions League. It's been a long time coming for their fan base to experience such a thing. So big up them. It's been a brilliant season. A final as well in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, they didn't win it. Manchester United ended up doing so. And that's the thing. Look, I think on paper, Newcastle are a better team than Manchester United. And in the league, they showed that. They completely demolished Manchester United. But in cup competitions, United do turn up. That's why I think they might actually beat Man City in the FA Cup final. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Man United win that game, to be honest. I can't wait for it. I'm going to be covering it, of course, on this channel. I want AC Milan to win the Champions League. Can they do it? They can. They've won it 7 times in their history. Do I think they will? Not necessarily. I don't believe so. I just think that whoever wins out of Man City and Real Madrid will win the Champions League. I want AC Milan to win it as well. I have all the teams there. I'd love AC Milan to win it. I'm a big fan of Rafael Leao, etc. But I do think whoever comes out of Real Madrid or Man City will win the Champions League. That's just my thoughts on it. I agree. I'd like a Milan club to win it. Syria are not respected anymore, and it would be good to see one of those giants win it again. Yes, agree. I'd love I mean, I just don't want Man City to win it. If AC Milan win it, that'd be my favourites. I'd love Inter Milan and Real Madrid then to do it, but I don't want Man City to do it. However, as it works in life, it's ironic because I actually believe Man City will win the Champions League. That's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, I've always known away goals rule in Europe. I don't mind really. I like the away goals rule. I just wasn't a fan in extra time. That was my thing about it. Extra time should have been scrapped anyway. But yeah, heading back to the game. So Middlesbrough, my thoughts on them, right? The football's good. Genuinely, the football's very good. Michael Carrick is doing a brilliant job. Tottenham Hotspur, they just sacked Stellini today. Look at Michael Carrick. Genuinely, Michael Carrick, Vincent Kompany, two good managers, man. The quality of football I saw from Middlesbrough today was genuinely really good. Really good. Like, I'm seeing them do the little things right. Whether it's the extra pass, whether it's overloading the box, whether it's the passing backwards and knees to then go forward again. Little triangles. Knowing when to body feint and dribble forward. Like, it was really good for Middlesbrough, overloading on the wings as well. And I see a football team there. Like, Michael Carrick is cooking something there, genuinely. I think if they cut out the silly mistakes, which they need to, because you can't concede from corners and set pieces. It's one of the biggest ways to show your weak side. Don't concede just before the halftime whistle and just after halftime whistle, and don't concede set pieces. Because when teams know you're weak from set pieces, they're going to take advantage of that. Because a lot of football teams, how they're going to win matches against teams like Middlesbrough in the Championship is because they know they're not as good as a football team as Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough's been coached amazingly. So they're going to try and win games through set pieces. And if you show weakness in that sense, you'll give those teams confidence to try and expose them. The two goals that Luton scored today, one was from a set piece and one was from when Middlesbrough gave the ball away in their own half and they counter-attacked off it. Of course, it was, for me, it was nowhere near a penalty, but it's one of those things. He was through on going in with the striker. So you got to cut out the silly mistakes. But overall, I think the quality of football is really good for Michael Carrick. I think he's done a brilliant job. Like I said before, if an alien came down to earth and watched this game and said, okay, here's Luton, here's Middlesbrough, which team do you think is a Premier League team? They would have thought Middlesbrough was a Premier League team. They performed today like a Premier League team. You saw Luton, on the other hand, they played pragmatic, they played efficient, they defended well compactly, and they played to their target men, like I'd expect the Championship team to do. Middlesbrough today played like I'd expect a Premier League team to do. I have to credit them 100%. Michael Carrick's doing a brilliant job. Chuba Akpom's had a brilliant season. Cameron Archer as well, up to double-digit goals this season as well. Absolutely brilliant for them. And I wish them the best, and I'd love for them to get promoted. I genuinely think they can do it. I genuinely think they can, because I think if this game's played at Wembley, without the home crowd advantage for Luton, Middlesbrough do it, man. Genuinely, I think so. Newcastle need to add more quality players for next year. Currently on 15-16 like this year, we're not playing Europe. True, and I think injuries has helped a little bit, because apart from Isak being injured, Newcastle haven't had a lot of injuries, to be honest. They haven't. And you saw with Arsenal this year, a little injury to Saliba, and the whole ship's fallen apart for Arsenal. So I do think if you are Newcastle United, you're right. You got to bring in players. Just like a lot of football teams, this summer's going to be massive for them. Arsenal as well as another team. Got to make some big additions this summer. Winning the Premier League or finishing second, it doesn't matter. You've got to bring in some big signings if you're Arsenal to keep competing. Because like I said, if you're not moving forward in football, you're moving backwards. So it's one of those things. You can't be going sideways, because sideways is going backwards, because other teams will be progressing themselves, and you can't afford to basically relax in football. You got to keep at the top of your game. Don't get complacent. So you got to make signings if you're Newcastle. Spend the Champions League money. Spend the Champions League money while you can. There's no guarantee you'll be there next year. Who knows? Liverpool may be back. Chelsea might improve. United, Tottenham, who knows what happens to them. It's going to be very competitive next season in the Premier League, because I always expect it to be so. So if you're Newcastle, you got to sign while you can, man. While you got that Champions League money, while you've got that attractive proposition of Champions League football, sign the players, man. Bring in the top players. Who would do better in the Premier League? Luton or Middlesbrough? Middlesbrough, 100%. Middlesbrough can play football. Now, Luton might end up getting better results than Middlesbrough in the Premier League because of the home ground advantage and play that pragmatic style. But Middlesbrough are a more sustainable, better-looking football team. Middlesbrough can play football. Genuinely, they can. A long-term project-wise, Middlesbrough are better. Luton, like I said, might end up getting better results in the short term because of their pragmatic style, because of their home crowd advantage, because of how their pitch is and everything. But genuinely, Middlesbrough are a better football team. Like, Luton would look out of place in the Premier League. And that's no disrespect to them whatsoever. Massive credit for being third in the Championship and making the playoffs. Well, basically going to make the playoffs. But in my opinion, I think they'd look out of place in the Premier League. That's just my thoughts on it. I agree. Tottenham should get Michael Carrick. Agree. And he played for them, just like Arteta for Arsenal. Michael Carrick is the type of manager Tottenham need. Tottenham need a project manager. I went on my Instagram. I posted. Anyone doesn't follow my Instagram, check it out, by the way. It's in the description of this video. I posted on my story who I thought the candidates Tottenham should get for their manager. And I said in there, Michael Carrick, Roberto De Zerbi, Nagelsmann, the Sporting Lisbon manager, Thomas Frank, and I wanted to say Vincent Kompany as well, but I didn't have enough space. But those are the type of managers I think Tottenham should go for. A project manager. Someone that's going to be a bit young, maybe a bit naive. It could go against them, but someone's going to bring fresh ideas, change everything, integrate the academy a little bit more, and get Tottenham fans going to Tottenham games with a smile on their face again. Because I live in North London, right? I know a lot of Tottenham fans, just like I know a lot of Arsenal fans. And there's Tottenham fans I know that don't want to go to the games anymore. They don't. They fully don't go to the Tottenham ground anymore. Because they're like, why am I watching this? I'd rather watch it from home. Because at least I can turn the TV off if I don't like it. It's not fun to watch Tottenham right now. They're not. They're feeble. They play horrible football. They're weak. They're spineless. Their best players look disinterested. There's not really any academy players. And if there is academy players, it's Oliver Skipp, who's barely an academy player. He's been around the team for 4 years. They want to see the young, fresh players integrated into the side. When Arsenal were going through the bad period, right, a few seasons back, the only thing that kept me really invested in the football club was the Sackers, was the Smith Rowes, was the young bloods getting integrated and looking really excited in the football team. That's what kept the fans going. That's what kept the fans believing. Tottenham don't have any belief right now. And I think they need a new manager that's going to integrate the academy, give these young players a chance, because they give a young manager a chance, give those players a chance. He won't demand a big budget from Daniel Levy, because I know Tottenham fans want Levy out, etc. They want Enoch out. But look, it's very hard to get rid of the owner. It's very hard to get rid of the chairman. If one thing you got to do is you got to adapt to the owner and chairman. I know every manager needs money. I agree. But you're not going to bring the manager that's going to want Champions League level money. That's why I said Tottenham, they're bringing in Chelsea managers in Mourinho, Conte, but they're not a Chelsea football club. They're not going to give them the checkbook. They're not going to give them the millions to spend. So don't do it. Don't bring in managers that are going to expect millions to spend. Bring in managers that are going to embrace a project, like the companies, like the Michael Carricks, etc. That's who Tottenham should bring in, man. Bring one of those managers and get cooking. Let him build the process. Trust the process as well. I know it's a cliche, but genuinely trust the process and let him have time with that Tottenham team. And if he brings the football back, that's the main thing. As soon as the football comes back, the fans can get on board. Trust me, man. Trust me. I know you're a big club in Tottenham, so you need results along the way. But if the football's back, because trust me, Spurs have been starved of good football for a while now. If the football's back, the fans will buy in. Believe me when I say that, man. If they see young players integrated from the academy, the fans will buy in. If the fans see the light at the end of the tunnel, they will buy in. Majority of them will, especially these Tottenham fans, because they've been starved of any sign of good football under Conte, Mourinho, Nuno Espirito Santo, etc. So they're going to want the good football back. That's what I think Tottenham should bring in, man. The manager's going to come in, fresh ideas, change everything. Change the training ground if you need to. Change the diet. Change who starts, change who doesn't start. Get rid of some players, man. Get rid of the old heads like Lloris, like Davinson Sanchez, etc. The players that have just stayed too long, overstayed their welcome. They've ended up being a burden on the team now. That's what I believe should happen, man. That's what I believe should happen. So let's see. If I'm Tottenham, I'm bringing in a young, exciting manager. But let's see if they do that, man. I'm an Arsenal fan, so obviously Tottenham fans, feel free to take what I say with a pinch of salt, but I'm giving it as an impartial, unbiased point of view. I hope Tottenham fans can appreciate my opinion on this. Premier League relegation battle. Have your thoughts on who's going down changed? It changes every week, Tommy. Literally, it changes every week. Right now, it's Southampton. I still think Southampton will go down. I think that was a freak game, what happened at the Emirates. I still think Southampton will go down. I think Leeds and I think Nottingham Forest. Were those my picks? Yeah. Southampton, Leeds, Nottingham Forest. Leicester, I think that win was big for them. And Leicester can turn it around. I think Leicester will have just enough quality to stay up. But yeah, right now my picks are Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Leeds. I don't know the order right now. I think Southampton bottom. But Southampton, Leeds, Nottingham Forest. That's the team to go down in my opinion. Wonder if it's a really good idea for Company or Carrick, up-and-coming young managers to go to Spurs, which could be a disaster and put their careers back. It could, right. So this is the toss-up. For both Spurs and both those managers. I mean, Arsenal always had the risk when they employed Mikel Arteta, right? Coming out of the Man City job. I always say this, right? If you're going to bring in a manager, they either have to be world-class or you believe they have the potential to be world-class. Those are the only two times you bring in a manager. People always like to bang on about give the manager time. I agree, but give the right manager time. That's what I believe in, right? Is someone like, I don't know, Antonio Conte the right manager for Tottenham? No. Was Nuno Espirito Santo the right manager for Tottenham? No. So don't give them time. Was Graham Potter the right manager for Chelsea? No. Don't give them time. Cut your losses, move on. Was Mikel Arteta the right manager for Arsenal? The Arsenal board believed so they gave him time. They trusted the process throughout the bad times. If Tottenham are going to need to bring in one of these managers, they understand it's going to be a risk, so they're going to have to trust them 100%. They can't go into this willy-nilly 50% in or out. They have to fully go into the process and fully commit. If they bring in company, Carrick, Roberto De Zerbi, the young Sporting Lisbon manager, go in there and honestly bring in those manager and say, we're behind you. Bring the football back, bring the academy back. We're fully committed to you. We want results along the way, but we want to see the football back first of all and fully be committed to it. And I think that's what will bring success. In terms of manager himself, I see your point as well from that. If say it flops terribly, it could set their career back. But I always believe the ship doesn't sail twice. I watched the Jose Mourinho documentary, and when I believe it was Chelsea coming in for him, or no, it was Real Madrid actually coming in for Mourinho, he asked himself, he was like, Real Madrid's the biggest job in world football. Do I go for it? And in the end, he took it. Why? Because he said the ship doesn't sail twice. Real Madrid want me today. They might not want me in a year's time. I take this job now. So if you're company, if you're Carrick, and if Tottenham come calling, you take the job, in my opinion, because the ship doesn't sail twice. In a year from now, you might go for someone different. It's just like when Harry Kane wanted to leave Tottenham, Levy said, stay. You'll have more options next summer. And guess what happened? Teams wanted Kane, but the real team that Kane wanted to go to, Man City, didn't want him anymore. The ship doesn't sail twice. The ship doesn't set sail twice, man. So if you're one of these managers and Tottenham are calling, you take the job, in my opinion, man. And look, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. It went wrong for David Moyes. It went wrong for Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool, etc. You just go, it went wrong for Unai Emery at Arsenal. You go back to your roots and you rebuild again, man. You rebuild. Second chance will happen in football. They're still young. Trust me, it can happen. I think they should take the job. That's just my opinion on it. Feel free to disagree. Let me know your thoughts in live chat. If you are company, if you're Carrick, if you're any of these young managers and Tottenham offer you the job, do you take it? For me, you do, man. For me, you do. It's a big club. And I think it's a really good opportunity as well, man. Really good opportunity. And you can have time as well, I think, at Tottenham. I think you will. Do you like the current playoff system? Or would you change it? They have relegation playoffs in other leagues. Not sure I like that. I don't like relegation playoffs. I like the playoff system. I think it's really good. I think it adds another dynamic, especially to like a championship football, League One, League Two, obviously EFL football. I think it adds a new dynamic to it. I really like it, man. I really like it. Sajid, I meet the troll. Welcome into the chat, Tom Long. I appreciate you tuning in as always. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Are you Sajid's mate or something, man? Sajid ain't a troll, man. He's really good. Arsenal gave out at a time, but so many clubs don't. Exactly. And you have to commend the Arsenal board for doing that. And I think a lot of managers have appreciated that as well. And I think the new model in football now is trust the process and give time. But like I said, Arsenal gave out at a time because they fully committed to and they believed he was the right manager for the club. Don't just give any manager time. I'm all for giving managers time, but I was the first one calling for Graham Potter to be sacked because I saw it was not working. I didn't see the makings of a good manager. If the manager isn't getting results right now, I need to see signs. Like I was the same one that said Frank Lampard needs to go from Everton. So I wasn't seeing signs of a good manager. Utterson gave me signs. Whether it was the way he commanded himself in the press conferences, etc. I saw a good manager there. Just like I seen good manager Erik ten Hag at Man United. I think that'll be a match made in heaven. I think he's a really good manager there. So it's one of those things, man. Let's see who Tottenham employs a manager. For me, they got to give the manager time, whoever it is, man. I want Southampton to stay up. They got bare young players like Lavia. I agree. I think it'd be a shame for Southampton to go down, especially given the tradition that club has in terms of being a really good academy-driven football club. I mean, the players like Sadio Mane, I know he didn't come from the Southampton academy, but nurtured there. Virgil van Dijk nurtured there. Walcott, of course, he's back there right now. He was nurtured from Southampton as well. They did a really good job bringing these young players. Højbjerg as well for Tottenham. I know he's not a great young player, nowhere near the others I mentioned, but you know what I mean? Like they bring these young players, nurture them, and go from there. And I think it's a really good model for a football club. So it'd be a shame for Southampton to go down, especially given how long they've been in the Premier League. But all good things come to an end, man. All good things come to an end. You have to earn your place in the Premier League. You don't take it for granted. So yeah, Southampton's got a big job to stay up. They can. The relegation battle's so tight, but I don't think they will. Beware, guys. This Sajid is big as weirdo troll on Insta. Uses 20 different names. Nah, come on, Tom, man. Relax. If Everton get relegated, do you think they'll come straight back up? Who knows, man? This is the thing, bro. Everyone says, oh, don't worry, you'll bounce straight back up. It's not that easy. The Championship is crazy, man. Championship is one of the biggest kind of like mental things to predict in world football. If anyone's betting who's going to win the Championship at the start of the season or get promoted, I commend them because it can go either way. It's a free-for-all in the Championship, honestly. Like when a Premier League starts, you kind of got your picks of who's going to do well. Like, you know, the Man Cities will be there, etc. With the Championship, it's a free-for-all, honestly. Like every game's crazy. Like there's no team is going flawless in the Championship. Like even Burnley, they've drawn a lot of games. Like Man City's Premier League record and Liverpool's Premier League record of the past few seasons has been near flawless. I think they've dropped points in maybe 5 or 6 games maximum. Whereas the top team in the Championship will drop points in 10 games at least 10, 11, 12 games. Because it's crazy, the Championship. It's a mental game to predict. So who knows, man? I think it's too big of a risk to say they'll bounce straight back up. I think they would because I think Everton got the adaptability to fight in games. They don't have to play quality football. I think they've got fighters in that team that will deal with going away to Luton, for example. But I don't think it's a place you want to be in if you're an Everton fan, to be completely honest. Watford fan that constantly posts on Luton's channel, edgy Tommy says, it's what he posts, so just an oddball. I would expose you, Sajid, your days are numbered. Come on, man. We don't need this beef in the chat. I wouldn't take the Tottenham job right now. I know you wouldn't, but it's a big job. I mean, the money's an incentive as well. Employed by Tottenham, they're going to pay you well. But I would take it. I think Tottenham is still a big club. But I think there's a lot to change there. I mean, who would have taken the Arsenal job? What everyone would go to Arteta. First of all, they'd say, why are Arsenal employing Arteta? But also, why is Arteta taking over Arsenal? It was toxic after Unai Emery left, man. Xhaka wanted to leave. Like it was, the fan base was divided. It was toxic. No one was going to the Emirates anymore. You'd be thinking, why would you take that job? Now the Arsenal jobs are looking like the most attractive jobs in world football. I think if Arteta left, they'd be accused of managers wanting to take the Arsenal job with the young players there, the Martinez, with the Jesus, with the Sakas, the Salibas, Gabriels, Zinchenkos, etc. Anyone would love the Arsenal job right now. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. Perspective can change very quickly in football. How do you think I found John here? Yeah, exactly. Tommy's right, man. Let's be nice. I know Watford and Luton have intense rivalry. They do indeed. Anyway, sorry, mate, Karen. No problem, Tom, man. No problem whatsoever. But yeah, leave the beef aside. Championship in the top 15 leagues in the world shows how strong English football is. It is. It's really good. And I think also that the gap is being bridged slowly but surely between the Premier League and Championship as well. I think the investment is coming bit by bit. I think the model and investment is flawed because they do the trickle-down thing, right? Where the money goes in the Premier League and they just expect it to trickle down into grassroots football bit by bit, which I think is a bit naive at times. But I think overall, the Championship, the quality is improving bit by bit. I think there's more teams that are willing to give young managers a chance. I think that's always a good thing. Always a good thing. Because the best playing football teams I've seen right now in the Championship has been Middlesbrough and Burnley. And both those teams have fresh managers. Michael Carrick is his first proper job. Vincent Kompany is his first proper job. Let's be real about it. They're both gone for these young managers. I know Kompany, I believe he was at Anderlecht, right? Like player manager there or something before. But I was talking about his first like proper job. And when you bring these young managers that play under top coaches, like Kompany's been under Pep Guardiola, Carrick under Sir Alex Ferguson, they're bound to learn something. They've been in and around the game. They're IQ-driven footballers. And when they imprint their style on these teams, when they're not afraid to play passing football and play free-flowing football and not play to get results straight away, you see beautiful things. Like I saw Middlesbrough team today that would fit right in with the Premier League. Fit right in. They would give Premier League teams a good run for their money. And when I say give them a run for their money, I don't mean they'll win matches because it's one thing winning matches in the Premier League. Any team's capable of winning matches. I mean they will outplay Premier League teams. I can see Middlesbrough outplaying some Premier League teams, genuinely. I can't see Luton doing the same thing. I think if Luton get results, it'll be scrappy. It'll be a fight. It'll be a case of a bruising battle. But I genuinely can see Middlesbrough outplaying teams in the Premier League. Same with Burnley. Like the football they play is really good. And I think that's always a good sign. I think if more teams do that in the Championship, I think we're on to a winner, man. We're on to a winner. The more competitive it is, the better. That's always my opinion on it, man. And I like to see teams get rewarded for teams that play football. Because I feel like there's always a toss-up sometimes between entertaining football and getting results. I feel like people always feel like it's the opposite ends of the spectrum. But I genuinely believe if you marry the two, it can create a perfect marriage, right? Because football fans want the ideal blend of entertaining football and results. Every football fan wants that. But some football fans sacrifice entertaining football for results, just like Conte and Mourinho do. And others sacrifice the results for entertaining football. The marriage of the two is best. And I feel like some Championship teams, they try and get the entertaining football, but they realize they don't get quite good results and they don't get promoted. Whereas others go for pure results like Luton, and it's working for them. It's working a charm because they're brutal. They battle teams basically out the park. Whereas I feel like if you can blend the two and get good results from that, I'd always love to see that. And I think Middlesbrough have done exactly that. So I'd love to see them get promoted. I'm happy seeing Burnley get promoted on the Kompany as well. I love rewarding teams that play football and play football in its purest form. And I can enjoy watching them play. Because football is meant to be entertaining at the end of the day, man. And when I'm a neutral watching them play, I'd rather as a neutral watch Middlesbrough than as a neutral watch Luton. That's just my thoughts on it, man. No disrespect to Luton whatsoever, but that's just my thoughts. Could Championship teams compete in other top leagues? I mean, compete's a strong word. I think it depends on the team, right? Like Middlesbrough, yes. Luton, no. And it, like compete's one thing, right? Because I class competing as outplaying them. Like you can compete in terms of get results, but any team can get results. Like we've seen FA Cup teams beat Premier League. We've seen lower league teams beat Premier League teams in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup because they just got a result. They were outplayed out the park, but they took their chances. I want teams that can compete football for football. Can they do that? Middlesbrough, yes. Middlesbrough, I think they play really good football. Burnley, yes. But generally, I wouldn't say so. I think the general quality of football, I wouldn't say that they can. That's just my opinion on it. Brentford have been put into Serie A. How well would they do? They do decent. I think they would. I think they'd finish. I think they finish top half of Serie A. Genuinely, I think they would, Brentford. I think they do decent. Brentford, Brighton as well. Brighton are a really good football team, genuinely. Brighton play amazing football. For those of you that haven't watched a lot of Brighton this season, probably would have watched them against Manchester United. I missed that game because I was out yesterday. I only watched extra time and penalties, but I've watched enough Brighton already to know what they're about. They're a good quality football team, and I'm guessing they outplayed Manchester United because a lot of people were saying, "Oh man, Brighton are good." I was laughing seeing the tweets going, "Brighton can play football." Sitting there, yeah, this is your first time tuning into Brighton. I've been there all season, mate. They can play football and deserve it, man. They're a good quality team. If Luton get promoted, they will probably finish bottom, agree, with record low total, but it's 150 million in bank and pays for our new stadium. This is the thing, Tom, and I understand you're probably a Luton fan from the way you said our new stadium. I respect 100% what the job the manager's done coming in there from Watford, etc. And I respect what you're doing. Like the home crowd advantage is working a charm for you lot. And I understand you're gonna have to make renovations to change the stadium. You're probably trying to move into a new stadium, although you probably don't want to because the fact the stadium, how tight it is, like it's like a little a cauldron. That's how I'd explain it. It works a charm for Luton Town. And if they go to the Premier League, I'd respect them 100%. I genuinely would. I'd say brilliant job. But I see what you're saying about they'll finish last because I think they'll get found out in the Premier League because you play this way, will get you some results. But if they go away from home trying to play like this, they ain't going to pick up any results. They won't because the sustainability isn't there. It isn't. It's very much you're banking on your home form too much. And I don't think that's going to carry you a long way. Now, that being said, getting up to the Premier League is perfect. It's perfect because you've got the sense that you've got the money, just like you said. You got the money in, you can make some changes. The Premier League money is amazing. And even if you go back down, you get a parachute payment again. So I think it will be good for you lot. But I just think the football's not sustainable enough against the big teams in the Premier League. And also, your best player for me, Marvelous Nakamba, is an Aston Villa loanee. Will Aston Villa send you back? Will they send him back to you lot if you get promoted? I'm not sure. He's been your best player for me, man. There's like two of them in midfield. He's so good. Brighton just lacking the final third. Yes, I think Dennis Undav, same name as me, but bro, he could not finish, man. I think they needed Evan Ferguson or Danny Welbeck. Like, Evan Ferguson could be a top striker, but yeah, Dennis Undav let them down, to be honest. Let's be real. Yo, who do you think will finish 5th and 6th? I think Brighton, Liverpool, Villa, hard fixtures. Ooh, yeah, I agree. I think it goes Man City, Arsenal, Manchester United, Newcastle, Brighton, Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham. That's my top 8. Let me know yours in the live chat. Yeah, Liverpool and Brighton faves for me. Yes, I agree. Will Liverpool fans be happy with Europa League though? I'm not too sure. Home advantage working a charm. We're better away than at home, bro. Makes sense. I mean, because I guess it's championship quality teams. But I'm looking at the Premier League caliber teams because the step up from the Championship to Premier League is a different level. Like you go away to majority of Premier League teams, I don't think you're getting results playing that style of football. I genuinely don't think so. I think at home you will because Championship teams are more competitive than Premier League teams in the sense that Championship teams are normally up for a fight, from what I know of. Premier League teams are a bit more tippy-tappy, a bit more technically gifted. So I think away from home, they'll probably lose away at Luton Town because they won't be up for the fight, and Luton Town will bully them. But I think away from home, where the home team can kind of play to their style. You know what I mean? It's a bit more of like a friendly atmosphere for them. I don't think Luton can compete in a footballing sense, which is why I'd rather Middlesbrough get promoted. Just because I like to reward teams that play better football. Because I think today's game, for example, Middlesbrough played Luton out the park. No, Luton won the game, but on the two sides, I think Middlesbrough played by far the better football. They were popping it about really nicely. But Luton Town stuck to their guns and they played to their strengths. They played a pragmatic style of football and it works for them. So I have to commend them for that. Brighton, very good side, but next year they will probably have to start over without McAllister and Caicedo. That's the real problem for Brighton, man. Can they retain their assets? Can they keep a hold of McAllister, Caicedo, Mitoma, Evan Ferguson, etc.? Because I hear McAllister's most likely going to go in there. He's going to go at the start of the season, around 50, 60 million. And I understand now why Brighton kept hold of Caicedo, despite Arsenal bidding 70 million. They wanted to make a statement that they don't want to be a selling club. And if you do want to progress in football, you're going to have to stop selling your assets sooner rather than later, because it's all good signing these players, but if you keep selling them, you're not going to go anywhere, man. You're going to go anywhere because you're going to go up to just go back down again. Now, Brighton, I don't see them going down. And when I say going down, I don't mean going down to like Championship. I don't mean that. As in like getting better to getting worse again, because you're going to need to retain your assets. They've got some quality players in there, man. And no doubt a lot of top clubs will be sniffing around. But Brighton's model works. And that's why I really commend them. I'd love if Brighton make the Champions League, for example. I don't see it happening, but I'd love to see it happen. Brighton, for me, right? If Arsenal want to win the Premier League, that's my club. I'd love to see Brighton or Brentford do it because I love the way they approach the game. Everything is perfect from a football purist sense. They don't splash the cash, but they invest wisely. They trust the youth. They've got a system that works. They play nice football. Everything works perfectly. It's all seamless. Their fans get treated every week to watch their team play. That's the type of football I like rewarding. So if Arsenal want to win the Premier League, I'd love to see Brighton do it. I can't see it happening, but that's just my thought process on it. So let's see how Brighton do. They need to retain their assets. But then again, if they sell them, who's to say they won't bring in another top player that they've scouted? Who knows, man? Like they send Cisco guy. He looks quality as well. So Brighton just seems to spawn these out of nowhere, man. Their academy system's top. And their talent acquisition, their scouts are brilliant. We won 11 away from home, the best in the league alongside Burnley. Yeah, see, Tom, that's your point. You make a very good point, but I'm just comparing it to the Premier League quality because the Premier League is a massive step up, man. Massive step up in terms of quality. So let's see, man. Let's see. Brighton and New Leicester, they rebuild with a good scouting system. Yes, exactly. But they need to keep it sustainable. I think Brighton have got a good sustainable model as well, so big up them for that. Man City, Arsenal, Manchester United, Newcastle United, Liverpool, Brighton, Villa, Tottenham. So same as me. Exactly same. Oh no, I've got Brighton 5th, Liverpool 6th. So same as me, just swap Brighton and Liverpool. But yeah, that's my thoughts as well. Chelsea to finish 11th. Chelsea in the bin, man. Chelsea, I don't know where they're going to finish, to be honest. I have no clue where they're going to finish. I think Chelsea and Tottenham are both going to miss out on Europe. And I mean miss out on all of Europe. Europa Conference League included. That's just my thoughts on it. I really want Brighton to win the trophy, maybe FA Cup soon. I would as well. I like rewarding teams that play that style of football. The boat has sailed. Yes, it has. It has indeed for Chelsea. Let's see. I've got stock in Chelsea doing well next season if they bring the right manager in the door. Right manager. They've got the budget available. Everything. I've spoken a lot about Chelsea. I think they've got the good makings to go far next season. Genuinely, I think so. Welcome to chat, Luke. I appreciate you joining as always, my friend. Or they kept Caicedo because they want 100 million. Maybe I think he'll go for less in the summer. Seems to me Brighton are more interested in big sales and trophies. I think Caicedo will go for less than 70 million this summer because the reason 70 million was so much because January signings are always inflated because you don't have a lot of money to change it. When Arsenal bid for Caicedo, I remember my video got like 15,000 views overnight because I posted at like midnight and then I woke up the next morning it was like 15,000 views because it came out of the blue. It was literally 29th of January, a deadline day-ish Arsenal trying to sign Caicedo. And what can you do on deadline day? It's hard to then bring someone else in. I know Brighton would have been capable, but that's what I think inflated the price. I think in the summer, his price goes down. I think you can get Caicedo for maybe 60, maybe 65. Genuinely, I think so. But who knows, man? Football's a crazy game. Other teams will be floating about for Caicedo. I think a lot of top teams will be. Liverpool are dire need of him. Arsenal, of course, they want Rice as well. Who they go for, Rice or Caicedo? Let's see. Let's see what happens, man. Wouldn't you want to see Luton in the Prem for banter, lol? Privileged Prem teams having to come to Little or Luton. No, I'll be real. Look, if they make, I've got no horse in the race. I'm an Arsenal fan. I've got absolutely no horse in the race of who makes the Premier League. To be honest, whoever makes it, I credit them. But if I'm looking on pure footballing, purist standpoint, I'd love to see Middlesbrough make it because of the quality of football they play. I like rewarding teams that play good football. That's just my thoughts on it. I don't want to see Luton come up because I don't want to see be like a Stoke 2.0 with like the long throws, etc. and all that stuff. I don't want to see it, man. I don't want to see it, man. I've also been bullied whenever we go to teams like that. So I'd rather see Middlesbrough because I want to see a quality football team come into the league. A team I don't mind watching play football. That's just my thoughts on it, man. Obviously, I commend every team for playing their style of football. There's space in the league for teams like Luton that are going to play this style of competitive football where they fight for every second ball and scrap and they're defensively assured and they play off their target men. Stuff like that. There's a place for every team like that. But me personally, I just prefer watching teams that play better quality football. I don't think Chelsea want Europe. They probably don't, and they should because they're going to need it for the money and to make FFP ends meet. But missing out on Europe for one season isn't a bad thing. Trust me. More time on the training pitch refocuses your mind a little bit. It's good, man. Trust me. I think Tottenham and Chelsea will need it. Tottenham especially as well. I think Tottenham missing out on Europe would be a blessing in disguise for them. I got laughed at this for this year, yeah. But as an Arsenal fan, genuinely, I want Tottenham to make the Champions League. Genuinely, I do. I would rather Tottenham make the Champions League than Manchester United or Newcastle or Liverpool or yeah. I'd love Brighton to do it, but out of Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle, and Tottenham, I want Tottenham to make the Champions League because it doesn't change anything when they make the Champions League. They make Champions League, they ain't going to do anything from it. If Newcastle make Champions League, I back them to kick on and get better. If Man United make Champions League, I back them to kick on and get better. Same with Liverpool, same with Chelsea, etc. Tottenham making Champions League is Groundhog Day. It's the same every season. Oh, they make Champions League, they get knocked out in the round of 16. And then it's just a cycle goes again. Tottenham making Champions League isn't a threat. Newcastle making Champions League is a threat next season. Liverpool making Champions League is a threat next season. Suddenly they've got the money to get Jude Bellingham, etc. So as an Arsenal fan, call me crazy. I wanted Tottenham to make Champions League. I can't see it happening, but that's just my thoughts on it, man. From a practical standpoint, from a tactical standpoint, that's just my thoughts. I'm a very tactically based person. I've got my allegiances to Arsenal. I've got my hatred towards Tottenham. But I always look at the bigger picture. So bigger picture-wise, I'd rather Tottenham make Champions League than United, Newcastle, Liverpool, etc. but it's not looking that way. And I think Tottenham, the best thing for them is missing out on everything. Miss out on Europa League, miss out on Conference League. Have nothing. Go a season with no Europe. And let the young manager that you bring in, hopefully a young manager if you're Tottenham, let him bed in the young players into that team. That's just my thoughts on it, man. It would be different, Tom. Yeah, it would be different having Luton in the Premier League for sure. It's good to see new teams. I agree, it's good to see new teams. I like seeing a brand new team enter the Premier League that we haven't seen for a while. Like Forest, for example. They haven't been in the Prem for a while now. I think Chelsea 12th, Palace passed them due to Palace's very easy finishing schedule. And under Roy Hodgson, they've been really good, Palace. I have a feeling Chelsea will get one result to take 11th. My God, to take 11th, you know, like it's an achievement. Who knows, man? Who knows? Chelsea, I think they're just going to sink like a stone, Spurs. They should bring in their new manager right now, if I'm honest about it. But who knows? Pochettino seems likely to join them. Not who I would have picked, but look, it's not the worst manager appointment in the world. Middlesbrough, Coventry are good for the Premier League. I haven't seen a lot of Coventry this season, so I'm not going to comment on them necessarily. But Middlesbrough for sure would be. Blackburn, I like to see make it just because that's an OG team, man. Like when I first started watching football, that's when Blackburn won the Premier League, man. I remember that. Yes, Coventry, they spent 33 years in the top flight at one point from 67 to 2000, I believe. So they're a big name in English football. They are. And look, you just mentioned right here one of the biggest problems. Just like when Arsenal missed out on Champions League and it's taken us now 5 or 6 seasons to go back to the Champions League, it's the same. When you miss out on when you get relegated from the Premier League to Championship, if you don't bounce straight back up, it can be a long route back to the Premier League. Genuinely, you got to make sure you bounce straight back up because if you leave it a season, it can become 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. Honestly, you got to make sure if you get relegated, you bounce straight back up, and it can take a while. And now Coventry, 23 years down the line, they can make it back. They've got a chance in the playoffs. Anything can happen, man. Luton were also in the top flight relegated season before Prem started. There we go, man. Luton coming back to Premier League will be a massive story for them as well. Luton have dropped down far as well down the league. They weren't just in the Championship. They've dropped down further than that. So to come all the way back up is a credit to them. I commend them for that. 35 years ago today, Luton won the League Cup. Big up them for that, man. 35 years ago. Yes, I mentioned that earlier in the 80s. People forget that Luton were a top flight club for many years. That's the thing, though, because like football fans' memories are very, very short. They've got a short-term memory, right? A lot of football fans. They remember what's happening now. They remember the history and all that stuff. And look, so yes, I knew. Tommy says so. That's the thing with football fans, right? They like to remember what happened just recently rather than the whole history. And look, if Luton do make it, I commend them for that. Not my picks to go up, but it's one of those things. Who knows? All right. Any other questions, guys? Before I start to wrap up this stream, as it's been an hour. It was 22 teams back then, back in the old Division 1, I think you're referring to. For the Premier League, not many people know this, but Premier League was a breakaway league. Just like the Super League's a breakaway league, Premier League was a breakaway league with Sky back in the day as well. 10 years ago, we were in the conference, bro, for 5 years, and I had a season ticket in all those 5 years. Well, big up for rocking up despite your position, man. I always commend teams that and fans that have been through that period. I know Brentford are thriving right now, but Brentford for a long while were in the gutter. Like I think they were at Griffin Park. That was their old stadium before the G-Tech Community Stadium. They were in the gutter. Like I'm talking like League 1, League 2, etc. And they've made a complete change to fly all the way up the division. Same with Bournemouth as well. They were down the pits as well. So I really commend these teams that do that. I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan. I grew up in North London. I grew up literally in N5, where Arsenal's from as well. Like outside doorstep to the stadium in a way. So I know what it's like to support a big team. I don't know what it's like to support a little team. So it's not a lot of people like they support Arsenal, but they've equally got like a local team. My local team is Arsenal. I've just got fortunate in that sense that my local team is a big team. So I'll never know what it's like to support a team that's going out through the divisions and all that sense. A part of me would like to experience it, but I wouldn't trade obviously support Arsenal because it's a big team. I get to watch my team on TV basically every week. So yeah, I always commend fans that go week in, week out to their team play in the pits of League 2, League 1, Vanarama National League, etc. We played teams who bought 15 fans, lol. The ultras coming thick and fast, man. Is London Colney the best training ground in the country? No, Tottenham's is. Tottenham's got the best training ground. Tottenham, Man City, their training ground's really good. London Colney's a bit outdated now. At the time, London Colney was the best. When Arsene Wenger first built it, it was the best. But nowadays, a lot have got better. But Wenger was the innovator, right? Even with the Emirates Stadium. When the Emirates Stadium was built, it was one of the best. It was literally one of the best stadiums around. But then teams started to innovate, and suddenly the Emirates looks dated. The Emirates opened in 2006. So, yes, one of those things. Not anymore London Colney isn't, but at the time it was. At the time, it definitely was. Tottenham now good. Tottenham got the best stadium in world football. Not best stadium in terms of history or anything like that. Don't make no mistake about it. But in terms of pure facility, I believe Tottenham's got the best stadium in world football. Like, the facility is golden. And, yeah, I believe they've got the best training ground as well. National League is brutal, as you know. I watched Wrexham versus Notts County and Wrexham versus Bournemouth the other day, man.
quality football, long throws, etc. Pure vibes. When I say quality football, I don't mean actually like quality football, as in like it's just quality to watch, quality entertainment. I think Wolves, Aston Villa, and Leicester win tomorrow. For a second, I thought you were going to say those teams getting relegated when you said Wolves, Aston Villa, and Leicester win tomorrow. Yes, well, I'll be here tomorrow, obviously, at 10 p.m., guys, to react to the Premier League games. My main fixture will be Leeds versus Leicester, but of course, any of the games, feel free to talk about them. The fixtures, let me remind myself of the fixtures tomorrow. I believe Wednesday's also stacked, man. Wednesday's fixtures are stacked. So Wolves, Palace, I think Palace get a point at least. Villa, Fulham, I think Villa win that game. And Leeds United, Leicester, I think Leicester win that game as well. I think that's a 6-pointer down the bottom, though. So, yeah, I'll be here Tuesday, 10 p.m., Wednesday, 10 p.m., Thursday, straight after Manchester United versus Tottenham. All 3 days I'll be covering Premier League football. So feel free to join in. Make sure to subscribe if you're new around here, etc. So you know always keep up with the content. And obviously, I'll be here for the Championship playoffs as well. Let's not forget, when the Championship playoffs are here, I'll be here to react to all the games, man. As much as the games I can, as long as I don't clash. The final, definitely I'll react to. Championship playoff final at Wembley, I'll be here to react as soon as the game's done. And yeah, some of the playing games as well, I'll try and react to. Trust me, it's more entertaining. Wouldn't swap it to supporting a Prem team. Well, a lot of people support a local team and the Prem teams. They get the best of both worlds. I'm not sure. I'm guessing you just support Luton Town. Luton Town are probably on that border where they're not bad enough to like just support them in the Prem team because you know they're never going to clash. But equally, they're not like a Prem quality. You know what I mean? Like some of my friends that support Arsenal, they also support Stevenage or Boreham Wood or teams like that. You know what I mean? Like down Leighton Orient, teams like towards the bottom, etc. I prefer Highbury, bro. Yeah, 100%, man. Though Emirates is improving. Highbury is one of those like grounds like Villa Park, like Anfield, that's just got history to it, man. Like it's got proper history, it's got culture. That stadium had an aura to it. Like for as much as Anfield's been commended, Highbury is the same thing. When you stepped into Highbury, you know you're having a battle. Tight pitch, legends on that football pitch, man. You know you're in for a battle at Highbury. Like Arsenal would play you at the park and bully you off the park, both at once. So good, man. When I was born, obviously, Arsenal was still at Highbury, but I only really remember Arsenal at the Emirates. My first game that I went to was in 2007. So when the Emirates just opened, just missed the Highbury days. But yeah, massive credit to Highbury days. It would have been amazing. I wish I was able to remember watching Arsenal during those times. It would have been amazing. Leeds versus Leicester. Does the loser go down? Yes, I think so. And my money's on Leicester. I think they'll do well. Leeds look porous at the back. So porous. And the thing is, right, they're the worst form team in the Premier League, and form can kill you. Just like I said in today's game, right, I don't think Carrick should have rested Chuba Akpom because momentum's so important in football. I know he doesn't want to get them injured. I know the managers would have been like watching behind like this, thinking don't get injured before the playoffs. But momentum can be so big because it's hard to switch it on like a tap, on and off. So Middlesbrough now, they got to get back to form again. Luton Town, right, they're just going to keep striving. They played their first team, basically. They just keep moving. They're on a really good run of form. So they just got to keep moving into the playoffs, keep the same run of form, confidence high, etc. Middlesbrough now got to bounce back. They got to bounce back now from the loss. And they got to try and go again. It's hard to just turn it on. So for me, I think Michael Carrick made a mistake. He should have just run through Chuba Akpom, etc. Play the first team. If an injury happens. That's down to God. So that's what I think they should have done. It's one of those things. Now, relating that back to Leeds versus Leicester, your comment, Tommy. Leeds right now, the form is terrible. They're not good defensively. They're leaking goals for fun. I mean, that Liverpool game was car crash defending. And they're not good going forward. They're not scoring enough goals for me. It's a terrible combination. And so for me, I think they're a good chance to go down, to be completely honest. Now, Prem is better. Come on. Yeah, the quality of Premier League football is unbelievable, especially recently, man. Like what Pep Guardiola's done, Guardiola and Klopp, the quality of football they brought to the league is crazy good, man. The clock end, iconic with Arsenal. North Bank clock end, man, also so iconic. Two club fans, lol. Come on, they aren't proper fans. Yeah, you could say that, man. It's one of those things. Anyway, good chat. All best versus City. I appreciate it, Tom, man. We're going to need it. Thoughts on the Man City versus Sheffield United portents at Wembley. Atmosphere was abysmal. So this is my thoughts on it. Man City, I know Sheffield United probably maxed out their attendance. They would, bro. It's an FA Cup appearance for them. Man City fans, they're not going to max it out. Why? Because do they care about an FA Cup semi-final, these Man City fans? Genuinely, do they? Like, there's not enough Man City fans as it is. They don't feel the Etihad, which I think is a farce given how good quality the team is. Like, if my team was playing how Man City play football, I'd go to that game every week. Arsenal would max Arsenal season tickets, yeah. My uncle's got a season ticket at Arsenal. When he can't make the games and I can't make it, he sells it, right? And it sells instantly. As soon as he puts the ticket on Ticket Exchange, Arsenal's Ticket Exchange, he sells it like this. He gets the email instantly because fans want to go to watch Arsenal at the Emirates. Etihad's got 50,000, something like that, 52,000. And it's got better quality football than Arsenal right now. He's got a better team than Arsenal, you'd say, on paper. Like Haaland plays for Man City. They don't even fill their stadium. So I just think Man City fans, they can't be bothered. Like Pep Guardiola, again, he said on Wednesday he wants the fans there 3 hours early. He's taking the mick out of the fans again. Sheffield United, like I said, they will max out their attendance. Of course they want to. For the Man City fans, they can't be asked to go to semi-final. The final they'll go to, it will be full for the final against Manchester United. I trust me when I say that. For this semi-final against Sheffield United, they don't care. And I think it's a shame, to be honest. That's why a lot of people say, why the semi-finals at Wembley? I guess it's tradition. And I think they should be at Wembley. But look, it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. Man City fans don't do enough for me. Don't do enough whatsoever. One of the most spoiled fan bases, in my opinion. I was thinking that Leicester would go down, but changed my mind because Leeds have been so bad. Yes, I think if Leicester, any team that doesn't get relegated, whether it be Leicester, Southampton, Leeds, Villa, they're going to sit there on the final game of the season in the locker room after surviving and going, we got away with one. That's how they're going to react. And that's how it would be. Because any of those teams that survive, whether it is a Leeds, whether it is a Leicester, Forest, Southampton, I'm going to put those 4 teams in there. So I think Bournemouth, West Ham done enough to survive. I think they play good enough football. But if any of those 4 teams out there, they might change my mind by going on a great run. But if it goes how I expect it to go, where those teams basically don't pick up any points, and it's going to be a scrappy end to the season, whichever of those 4 teams survives, they are going to know they got away with murder here. They got away with daylight robbery. Because all 4 of the teams deserve to go down. They are playing bad. They're porous at the back. They don't play good football. They're leaking goals for fun. They're a soft touch. And yeah, who knows, man? I think it'll be 1-1. Are you talking about Man City, Arsenal, Man City? Or are you talking about another game? If you're talking about Man City, Arsenal, boy, I would take that. But I think Man City are winning the game on Wednesday. As an Arsenal fan, I've got all the faith in the world in my team, but I think Man City are winning, to be honest. Welcome in, see you, and I appreciate you joining the stream as always, my friend. I'd love to see semis played away from Wembley like Villa Park or Old Trafford. A lot of people have said that. A lot of people said that. Why not do that? Or another thought people said is, why not do 2-legged semi-finals like they do in the Carabao Cup, where they have 1 home leg, 1 away leg for the FA Cup? I'm fine with Wembley, to be honest. I'm fine with Wembley hosting the semi-finals. I think it's traditional, etc. So I've got no problem with it personally. But I see your point, and it is struggling to fill the stadium as well. I just think Wembley needs to find a use for it, because England's one of the only places, right, that's got a stadium that's only used for the international team. Like, Wembley is out of use except for concerts. Well, okay, let me talk from a football sense, right? Apart from concerts, boxing matches, the NFL, etc. From a footballing sense, it's only used for England matches and finals. Carabao Cup final, FA Cup final, Papa John's Trophy final, EFL playoff final, all that stuff. And of course, the FA Cup semi-final as well. Other than that, Wembley's useless. No other country has a stadium for their international team. They just let the team go anywhere. So like they'd go to Tottenham Stadium, or they'd go to Old Trafford, or they'd go to the Emirates, Etihad, Villa Park, etc. That's what they should do in England. England's the only place that's got a Wembley. It makes no sense, man. But look, so they're going to have to find a use for it somehow. And I guess they've decided FA Cup semi-finals, might as well get their money's worth of Wembley. But like 90,000 is getting wasted at times. Absolutely wasted. It looks like Man City sold out their allocation. Sheffield United had the empty seats. Too expensive. Oh, so other way around than I thought. Okay, the too expensive point makes sense then. They're going to need to recoup the money one way or another. That's a shame, though, for Sheffield United fans, because I can't see Sheffield United being a team that makes the FA Cup semi-final a lot. Let's be really bad. They're not they're a big club, don't get me wrong, but they're not a massive football club. So I don't know why more Sheffield United fans didn't go. I mean, look, I know they would have expected to get beat that day, and they did. They lost 3-0, but it's an occasion, man. Go for the occasion. And if it's too expensive, that's one thing. Maybe bring the prices down a little bit if they can find a way to do so. But overall, man, I think if you're a team like Sheffield United, if you're a team like Brighton, go, man. Go, because who knows when you're next in the FA Cup semi-final? Who knows? I'd be more surprised if United fans or City fans don't go. Do you know? Sorry, I'd be less surprised if United or City fans don't go, because they're big teams that are expected to make cup finals. And you see, United already won a cup in the Carabao Cup. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that. But yeah, it's one in a lifetime opportunity, man. Why have semis at Wembley? Tradition, I guess. Tradition, man. Money and tradition. For semi-final, they should see who the sides are and then select a neutral side that makes sense for those clubs' fans. Like a meet in the middle point. I'm not against that, Jeff. I think that's a really good idea, actually. I'm not against that one bit. Before 2007, they were at neutral grounds. It's just for money, bro. Exactly, yeah. Money, one of those things, man. Bring my FA semis at neutral grounds. Yeah, like I agree with Jeff's point as well. So, for example, if it's Arsenal Newcastle, meet in the middle. If it's Arsenal and Tottenham, Wembley will do, because it is on the doorstep for both teams. 1-1, okay, Leeds versus Leicester, 1-1. Who's a draw a better result for, though? That's a good question. Who's a draw a better result for? If I look at the table, right? They're both out the relegation zone right now. That's crazy. Oh, Everton as well. I forgot about Everton. Everton, I just think will survive because of their home form, but they got a bad loss to Fulham. So honestly, from 16 to 20, if Southampton, Forest, Everton, Leicester, Leeds, right? Whichever of those 2 teams survive, they will have got away with one. 100%. 100%. Is a draw a better result for Leeds or Leicester? I mean, it'll do for both. It'll do for both. I think it's a better result for Leeds because it's a home game for them. But I think both teams need it, man. I think both teams need the win, to be honest. I'd love to also see England play home games away from Wembley, and this is a London game. I'd want to see Old Trafford, St James Park, Villa Park, or Goodison. Why not, man? Why not? Especially Everton building a new stadium as well. Why not use their new stadium? Same with Wales. We need more games spread around the country. It's all in Cardiff, and that's coming from someone in Cardiff. Yeah, I mean, like, for example, when Italy played England, right, in the international break, they played in Naples, and then the other time they played at San Siro. Just shift it around, man. Play a bit in every stadium. Why not? Why not? Yeah, like I'm sure people from Newcastle, Manchester would want to see England play live. Exactly. And look, I'm from London. I don't watch England really play live. I don't care. So let's see. Draw dangerous for both. Yes, that's the thing, man. A draw. It's got to the stage of the season right now. I've never been a fan of draws in football. Never. Ever since it went to 3 points for a win and 1 point for draw, I never understood the point of draws. For example, just have to look at Arsenal, right? Last 3 games draw. Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton. Basically, what's happened is Arsenal have won 1 game and lost 2. That's what's happened, basically, on the balance of 3 draws. The only good thing about a draw is it stops the other team winning. So if you're playing a team around you, like, for example, when Arsenal play Man City, I'd take a draw in that sense because it stops Man City getting 3 points over us. It stops them gaining the advantage on us. But other than that, draws are useless, man. They don't help either party. That's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, draws are very dangerous for both. Exactly what Jeff said. I agree, man. Though, like I said before, the international football, apart from tournaments, I've not much interest. Before international football, apart from yeah, for me, World Cup is my favorite tournament on planet Earth. Favorite tournament. But the decline from World Cup and Euros to an extent as well, the decline from World Cup and Euros to Nations League and friendlies is steep. Like, it's World Cup, Euros, etc., whatever. Like, international tournaments, World Cup, etc., Champions League, Premier League, Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, international friendlies. Like, the jump is crazy. That's just how it is, man. Like, I don't see a need for it. Nations League, I don't know why it's there. You need to help Josh, huh? You need to help Josh to end the stream. What do you mean? I need to help. You need to help Josh to end the stream. I don't get it, Jordan. What, True Good and streaming? You need to help Josh to end the stream. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe rephrase your question. I'm not sure what that means, Jordan. But I appreciate you tuning in either way. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. Scrap friendlies, who cares about them? That's just to keep the boots fit. I mean, to keep the players fit, man, and make sure that they're not, I don't know, like they're fresh going into tournaments, and some managers get a chance to play with their teams. But yeah, Nations League, I understand why they did it, because they wanted, it's glorified friendlies. Like, they wanted to give friendlies a meaning to them. But I just don't watch it, man. I'm not a fan of international football apart from the World Cup. World Cup I love. I always watch World Cup. World Cup is the only tournament where I'll watch every single game of the World Cup. I won't watch every single game of the Premier League, but I'll watch every game of the World Cup. This World Cup, I was watching Japan, Costa Rica. Japan versus Costa Rica, bro. Like, equivalent in terms of football teams, right? That'd be like watching, what, Bournemouth versus Forest? Like, equivalent, let's be real about it. But I'm watching because it's the World Cup. Anything can happen, man. So yeah, it's crazy. Will West Ham win the Conference League? I think so. I'm planning on going to the Europa Conference League semi. Hey, big up you if you go to the Europa Conference League semi, Siwan. I think they will. I think they're a good chance winning it, man. Conference League's got some good teams, but yeah, I think my money's on West Ham. I think they'll do well. Too many games, exactly. Josh is live. He can't. Why can't? What do you mean? He just has to click the end button. I'm not too sure what that means. He can't end the stream. I'm not too sure. Jordan. I'm doing my own stream though. But yeah, I'm gonna start to wrap it up soon anyway, because of the time. It's been 1 hour 18 minutes. It's coming up to 11:20. I'll be here tomorrow though. As soon as the Leeds versus Leicester game finishes, I'll be here to talk about that. Talk about the other games of Premier League as well. I cannot wait to see what happens in the Premier League. Premier League, bro. Football's coming thick and fast, man. I'm a bit disappointed. I've got exams coming up, which is a bit of a shame because I do even more football watching and streams, etc. But it's one of those things. West Ham should win it. Yeah, they should. They're in a very good, favourable position to do so. When is the UEFA Champions League semis? I believe it's not this week, not next week, the week after. So not this Tuesday, Wednesday, not the Tuesday, Wednesday after, the Tuesday, Wednesday after that. If that makes sense. I can find the exact date. UCL semis. First leg is 9th of May and 10th of May. There we go. Which I believe is in not next week, the week after. That's what I think it is. But yeah, Can't wait. I'll of course be covering those on this channel as well. But yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream as always. Luton Town beating Middlesbrough 2-1 in a game that's actually very crazy in the sense that I believe the better team lost in Middlesbrough, and a team that I've actually got more faith in getting promoted to the Premier League. Middlesbrough lost the game. This was in a way the prelude to what I expect to be the Championship playoff final in Wembley in a few weeks' time. Middlesbrough versus Luton, the two best teams to not get automatically promoted from the Championship to the Premier League. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I cannot wait for. Of course, I'll be covering that game on this channel today. Luton won. They won the battle, but will they win the war? Let's see, man. I appreciate everyone tuning to the stream as always. 9th, 10th, 16th, 17th, exactly C1 first legs and second legs in 2 weeks' time. And thankfully, they'll be on separate days so I can watch all the games. Not just have to choose which game to watch. Crazy, man. Crazy. Love this part of the schedule. Dread summer, no matches. Exactly, man. I'm trying to cash in as much as possible because I'm this close to monetization as well. I'm only like 700 hours away. So yeah, I'm trying to cash in, trying to get monetized before the end of the season as well. So let's see. Take care, bro. I appreciate everyone tuning to the stream as always. Let me know their thoughts. If anyone's just joined to the stream now, sorry, you came a little bit too late. The stream's ending, but scroll right back to the start so you can hear all about my thoughts on the game. And make sure you subscribe to check out my new streams. Hit the bell notification so you never miss any streams I post. And check out the community tab on my page so you can see my streaming schedule. I'll leave it there. My next stream will be tomorrow for Leeds versus Leicester. Wednesday, the massive game, Man City versus Arsenal. I want to see everyone there. And on Thursday, Tottenham versus Manchester United. I'll be covering all those matches on this channel. And of course, streaming basically every day regarding football content. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching this video as not part of the stream, let me know in the comment section your thoughts on the game on any other football related topics. I hope to see you all again in my next stream, which will be tomorrow. Take care.